Hey there, welcome back to OnePackageLive.com, and today is March 27th already. I can't believe how quickly this month has gone by. And what we're going to do today is we're going to case ahead and do the additional commands, but there, right? So might as well with the case study, because it comes in two parts, in the first part of the chapter and in the end. And I have this feeling to this, I'm really going to regret not having the experience of trying something on my own. To make it even more dramatic, the table of contents here. Okay, oh, there it is. Okay. Alright. Okay, that's what I was saying. So anyways, I'm going to do this part of the chapter here, and at the end they're going to complete the case. I actually went through the entire chapter last night. I basically skimmed through. I didn't do any exercises. I want to see what's ahead, and I looked at hold that line. This stuff looks pretty fun, and we are going to do it. But since we've already spent so much time working with these commands, I want to put them into practice doing the case study. Now here's a note. Tonight, I don't know if I want to type this stuff out. I've been typing a lot these days, but I'll just type out the important things. Tonight, we are going to do the case study, but with something different. The author uses an example using a troff format with change from some other format. And since I don't understand troff and it's not my own example, I decided to do something a little bit of my own. I'm going to use what I took from that case study, and I'm going to apply it to an HTML file that I created. Where is it? Basically, I decided to the bookmarks from Opera and export them to an HTML file called bookmarks.html, and with that file, that's direct. Now, in about a year, I went through a couple of books by Sam's Books review, and I did a CSS course, little CSS course, and I also did a little JavaScript course. Now, the JavaScript, I completely forgot how that works. CSS, I remember it, just enough. If I look at a CSS file, I can understand some of the code there, and HTML I definitely understand. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on a mission here. I want to show you as I speak about it, because it actually helps me explain it better. So let me find my CSS files first. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to pick one of these guys. Let's pick the index, because that's usually the most, has the most stuff in it. And this is based on old information. I'm going to definitely change some stuff around. The URLs are going to change, etc. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these files, maybe this file here, and I'm going to convert this source to be read by CSS. So basically, the hrefs to A-links. Now, how am I going to do that? I have no effing idea. Okay? But what I am going to do is I'm going to use what I've learned so far, what's said, on top of the scriptlet that they use on the case study. And we're going to massage this through until we see something happen. I mean, that's it. I really don't know what it's going to look like, if it's even going to work, what kind of mess I'm going to create. But it's called a learning experience. And with that being said, it's just going to, give us a better view on how SED works. So why don't we get started here? First, I am going to copy over the scriptlet and put it into a file by itself. Second, I am going to examine the CSS file and the HTML, let's call it the bookmark files. Thirdly, I am going to design an objective, i.e. change the href to a link. So if that sounds alien to those who don't know HTML and CSS, from the HTML code to CSS code. Okay, the outcome should be a new file, but I haven't the slightest clue on what is going to look like. Maybe we will create a full CSS file, or maybe we will recreate the HTML file, the bookmarks file, with CSS code inside of it. I will, however, follow one thing about the book other than the scriptlet. The author, not they, provides, and that will be the objective given in the book, which is to manipulate the fonts. They work with converting from a format that I am not familiar with to troff, which is another format that I am not familiar with. So let's get started. The easy stuff first. Copying the scriptlet into a file. Alright, let's take a look at the book real quick. This is a bit more detailed than what I expected, and for the purpose of learning, I will build on the examples from the most basic to the most complex. What does that mean? I don't want to just throw in the final, the final script and start messing around with it, because I'm gonna cheat myself, and I'm gonna cheat you out of what's supposed to be happening. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start with the most basic scriptlet. Okay, basically a scriptlet. When you keep hearing me say that, I typed it out in my in a couple of files ago. That's a word I made up. Okay, it's nothing official. It means a template, a script template. And since I didn't want to type script template, I created scriptlet. Okay, and I looked it up on Urban Dictionary. I couldn't find it, and so I'll just stick with that for now, with respect to everybody who's in the industry. And I think it's a nice little word. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with the most basic scriptlet, and we're going to run and test it against the files. Then we're going to modify it a little bit and go on to the next one. I'm going to read each section of the book that's respective to the scriptlet that that I'm using, and I'm going to apply what I'm reading there to our actual case. Sounds good? All right, enough talking. Let me get started with the very first one. Okay, this is going to be our shell script, alright? Well, this is going to be our scriptlet. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this one here. First one. And before we come back to this, I'm going to create some shell variables here to make our work easier. So, what we're going to do is export and CSS to case CSS. Okay? The second variable I'm going to create is HTML and case study HTML, and then finally let's do it like this: study case study.sh. Okay, so echo study case study CSS and HTML. You're going to see that we're going to be working with those files. Next, I'm going to examine the HTML file. So we're going to open up the HTML. Oh, that didn't work. Let's go ahead and write the content of the bookmarks file. Opera bookmarks. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to remove the case study HTML, and then we're going to create a shortcut. Opera bookmarks to case study HTML. Alright, so what was that all about? Alright, maybe it doesn't work that way. So let's move it to it. It doesn't like, I guess because we're on Windows, it doesn't like the symbolic link. So anyways, we'll talk about that in Bash. So here's our bookmarks file. Okay, this is our HTML, and what I want to look for is to see if they have fonts. They don't have font. Alright? So, let me think here. Let me think here. We're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cheat. Of course, being that this is a SED lesson, it would be nice to show you, a SED replacement for the greater than arrow to, create a font, but at the same time, a font tag. This might be a problem here. So I'm trying to think on how to do this. Oh boy. Well, let me show you how I've done it all my life. Okay, font type Courier, and then let's see if this works. I haven't done this for a while. Alright, let's see what it looks like here. No change. Huh. Okay. Let's see if that changes. Okay, that's changing it right there. I can't think of a font name right now, and there's there's a million ways to look at fonts. Let's try this. I don't see the changes. I don't know if I'm writing it wrong or what. Let me look at an old file here, an old HTML file. Maybe I'll just copy the fonts from there. There it is. Let's just write it to a font text file.txt. Perfect. So let's move this fonts file. Well, let's go back here. There we go. Perfect. Let's go ahead and convert this. When I get my Linux computer, I promise there's going to be a lot more, real-time Unix stuff. But we're in Cygwin, which is great. I mean, this. If it wasn't for this program, we wouldn't be doing this right now, because I don't have any Linux computers anymore. Alright, so there we are with the fonts. Okay. See, it helps to review stuff. I haven't done this, HTML like in a long time, and I'm not really a web developer. Actual. thing here. So let's change it and let's refresh. And now we're talking. Now we have something different, right? Good, good, good. This is a start. Slow, but it's a start. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna change all the fonts. Might take a little bit of time here. I should have done this prior to this, but you know, it's a lot better to do it in real time because, for one, you know, it's easy to find a problem while we're doing it if and when we will create problems. And two, it just, you know, we cheat ourselves if I did this in the background, because you would never know what I did to set it up, right? I could have just copied it, you know, somebody else's work or something like that, which I don't do and I don't believe in. And I hope by now you kind of know that. But and this is fun, you know. Some people like playing video games. I like doing this stuff. I don't know why. I love coding. I love learning new programming languages. Not to get a job, not to, you know, get popular with, you know, nerd people, but I don't know, there's something about manipulating text and just looking at code, looking at the elegance of how it's written and what it does. It's very hard to explain what it does to my mind. Basically, I'm addicted to looking at code and playing around with code. No, I'm not weird at all. No, don't even think that. I don't even know what that word means. Okay. Alright. What is this? Alright. Yeah, don't get offended by my bookmarks. I'm not really religious, so, you know, and I do like black metal music. Oh well. Alright. Some of these links are pretty damn big, aren't they? This one's easy to do. Let's try this one. Just replace with the font /A. Wow. Okay, let's look at now. I don't miss doing this copying and pasting stuff. This is what I'm learning sed, and this is what I'm going to learn grep, and later on we're going to do Perl. After I complete this whole Linux thing, you know, I'm thinking before we do Perl, I'm going to do a review of HTML. I'm going to learn some XML and some SQL just to learn the syntax. And then when I write Perl scripts, I'll be able to do what I'm doing right now in a fraction of a nanosecond. Huge time difference. I wish the real world could be scripted, and other businesses side of finance realize the power of creating shortcuts, because programming is not limited to computers, but well, it's unlimited. And if people, you know, use minds to create nice shortcuts and make things more efficient, that's never going to happen. People like making a mess. So with that being said, enough of my philosophy here. I'm going to replace all these /A. Okay, and then Control H, We're going to do that, and then we're going to do this. I hope it doesn't double it. You'll see what I'm talking about if it does. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Okay, it didn't do it. Very good. Alright, so we just changed the fonts, and I guess what we're going to do is I'm going to copy this here. The mouse just kind of flew where it wanted to for some reason. And we're going to save that file. Hopefully from this point on we'll open it up in SED, and we're going to refresh this. This is what the files look like, or the links. You see that I missed a couple of them. Big deal. This is not an HTML class. So we're going to go back here to our case study, and this is going to be our target. Okay, our target is to change. Oh, see, it did double it. Oh, whatever. I think it just did it to this one alone. Whatever. We're going to target everything that says font face Garamond, bold, size color, or size 4 color, whatever that color is, and we're going to we might create a regular expression out of that. So we're going to remove that. Leave open for any text. Alright. And now we're going to look at our CSS code, so that at least we have an idea of what we want. Well, we don't have any written to the CSS code, huh? Nope. So we're going to just write something real quick. Go back to our higher directory so that we can write a CSS file to that variable. There it is. Alright, let's look at this real quick. Let's grab a font. We have font. I forgot what CSS calls, the sections of their code. So I'm just gonna call it whatever applies to it at the time. So I am going to look for something to change it to. CSS is written really nice. This goes a long way. I had a lot of fun learning CSS too. Don't get me wrong, HTML was the first language I ever, no, the second, because the first language I learned was Bash, and when I first set up my Apache server, I didn't know what to do with it, so I created an HTML file. I bought an HTML book and started writing HTML. But when I discovered CSS, I really liked it, to see how powerful it is. Alright, so we're going to copy this for now, and we're just going to play around with it as we go along. So this is replace with I know you can't see me, and it doesn't really matter. My face is real close to the screen right now because I'm looking at all three lines here. I'm looking at this, I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at this. Actually, this is I'm trying to find what I can fit into what. Okay, for a quick review, this tells us to substitute, okay, to replace whatever text is in here. Let's do it real quick so that we understand what's going on. Take what's here and replace it with this, okay? Globally means everything, okay? Everything in the file. So, for example, what we're going to do is just show you a quick, what we're talking about, because that other one looks very, very, very complex. So, this is what we want to do. We're going to take what's here and replace it with, well, let's do this first, right? With this. Right? That's what we want to do. Now, if we wrote it, I just bit my tongue right now. Okay? If we wrote this in let's try it. This is not going to work, okay? Because we're going to get a bunch of errors. Let's look at our variables. Huh. Okay, so that was it. Let's do a quick history because I forgot what I named my variable for the actual file. Oh, case study, huh? Really? Interesting. So it looks like I didn't set my case study file. Okay, this should work now. Sed-F case study, and the name of the file is HTML. Okay, let's try this. We should get an error. No, we didn't get an error. What did we get? We should have had an error, but let me take a look at this real quick. Let me save the file first. That would help, right? No, didn't do it. Oh, interesting. Wow, it actually did do the replacement. We didn't get an error, so I was totally wrong, so I apologize for that. See, I can't predict what's going to happen. I assumed I made an ass out of me. Not you, but me. But, oh well, though, we'll work from this. Because, look, we went from this let's look at the differences, okay? Cat HTML. Let's hit output 1 and output 2. Touch output 01.txt. Okay, and export 01. Let's just put out 1 equals HC output 01. Export out 2 HC output 02. Alright, so the original, we're going to come back to out 1 later, but I'm going to write the contents to out 2. So okay, so we're going to do a diff between the HTML, which is the original file, and out 2, so you can see it. Okay, the difference is that the original HTML file has a font tag of Face Garamond, bold, size 4, color 121212, right? And the other one, let's scroll down here. It's funny how when you're looking for something you can't find it, probably because it's not there. Let's look at out 2. Alright, so there's output 2. This is easier to find just reading the file directly. If you notice output 2, the font tag is gone and it's replaced with a CSS thing. But that would not work in our HTML, because if we touched cat out 2 sample.html, we did that,